welcome to episode of You Love Comic Books. This is a YouTube show showcasing my recent comic hauls, comic speculations, and stuff from my collection. Alright, I got an awesome haul for you. This one is from a small comic convention, happens twice a year, called Rocky Mountain Con. I think that's the exact name. And I always try to make sure to go there because I always find great stuff. Whatever the proceeds, I think, from the door go towards fighting cancer, so that's always a good thing. So I was looking, I'm going to be making two videos. I was going to make one big one, but I bought a lot of stuff, and then I bought a ton of stuff from this one table. It was a dollar bin, and I was going through it, and I was like, what's going on here? And I started to realize something. So before I get into this amazing, beautiful haul, do me a favor, smash that like button. It helps with that YouTube algorithm so more people can see this video. Come on, hit it right now. I don't even care if you like the video, just hit it. Yeah. If you have any questions, what do you see, you like what you see, you want to say hi, whatever, leave a comment. I'll get back to you accordingly. You like these type of videos and you haven't done so already, hit that subscribe button. What are you doing? What are you waiting for? What's the big deal? Smash that subscribe button. Become part of the little complex conversation. Smash that bell for notifications. All right, let's get into this. Yeah, so I noticed, I was going through the box and I was like, there's some cool stuff. A lot of like low, mid-grade stuff. But then I saw this little star here and I was like, wait, I know that little star. And then I opened it up. And I realized it's a Mark Jewelers. This Thor 370 is a Mark Jewelers. Here's the crazy thing. I'm about to show you 54 other comic books that are all Mark Jewelers. I could have bought, I think he had over 100 in there of Mark Jewelers. So let's just get into this. And I will show you that they are Mark Jewelers. So, because, you know, there'll be others who will say, yeah, right. So like this one's not in bad condition. It almost could use a cleaning. So again, all Mark Jewelers are newsstands. I don't think there's ever been a Mark Jewelers that's been a direct. If it is, it's probably pretty rare actually. Or there's some guy marrying, a book with and putting the Mark Jewelers insert into a direct, and that would not be ethical. So yeah, again, this is Thor 365. This is a bit of a key. This is the first appearance of Thor getting turned into a frog. And here's another part of it. Or actually, no, 364 is. I don't know what it is. He just didn't have 366, which is the awesome cover with the Thor frog in action. So again, Thor 364, Mark Jewelers. All right. And then Thor 361, Mark Jewelers. So yeah, this, it's kind of funny. I'll get into this in a sec. Thor 360. Do I have to show you guys everything as Mark Jewelers? It's getting kind of repetitive, but I mean, I can't lie to you guys. You know what I mean? I want to make sure everybody believes this. Now, some things are in like okay conditions. Others have like rolled spines. So that's it for the Thor. Here's some Silver Surfer. So Silver Surfer 15. And again, Mark Jewelers. I went through a lot. Like, they had Defenders. They had a ton of Defenders. I didn't buy them. I should have, but I just didn't want to get everything. They had a ton of Micronauts. They had a ton of more Avengers and Iron Man. I wanted to try to get, like, I kind of wanted to keep what I paid for limited. I really, like, I was like, oh my God, there's so many good Mark Jewelers. But here's the thing about Mark Jewelers. As cool as they are, and this is just, I mean, this has been my experience, unless it's a key, or it is Silver Surfer 16. Here's 19. This one's in better condition, in that it doesn't have a rolled spine. But this is 19 with him versus Firelord. And awesome Ron Lim art. I loved Ron Lim around this time. I thought he had, like, I don't know what happened to him later on. Maybe his inker was better on Silver Surfer. I have no idea. And then I saw these Classic X-Men 20. And these are good ones to have. This is reprinting X-Men 115 and 116. Here's 21. And to show you again, it's Mark Jewelers. They had X-Men books, but I was positive. I went through them. I didn't see any Mark Jewelers in those. I would have grabbed those in a heartbeat. Like, they had them like around the 180s, 190s, early 200s. I mean, they wouldn't have been bad books just to find in a dollar bin. You know what I mean? Not being Mark Jewelers. Okay, here we go. Avengers 296. Again, Mark Jewelers. 293. Mark Jewelers. 292. Mark Jewelers, and this one is a fun. This one's a bit of a key because of this scene that was reenacted in Ant-Man 3, Ant-Man Quantum Mania, whatever it was called, with they literally redid this exact scene in the cut scene that was supposed to lead to the Kang Dynasty. But well, that movie was supposed to Kang Dynasty was supposed to come out May of 2025. I am recording this now, like November 10th, 2025. If anybody saw the movie, let me know what you think. I didn't get a chance to see Kang Dynasty. I heard things about it. My favorite catchphrase from Kang Dynasty was, "It's Kang time," which is a great, people would say Kang time sounds like a cheesy thing to say but it works in multiple ways. His name being Kang, and he deals with time. Kang time. I don't know. Maybe that wasn't a good scene in the movie. You tell me in the comments what your favorite part of Kang Dynasty was. I don't know, for some reason I got 2 issues of 291. And here's the thing. I wish instead of getting 2 copies of 291, I ran into Outer World Comics. And I told him, I gave him, because I thought I got all the best ones, and I said, oh, there's still a lot of Mark Jewelers in those boxes. And he's like, really? He's never found a Mark Jewelers before. And he's probably going to make a video. His will probably air before mine does, because I still have a bunch of videos I like to show. But who knows? Maybe I'll squeeze this one in the middle, who knows? But then I checked on him later to see what he got. And I don't know how I missed it because I went through everything. He got an Avengers 257. Is that it? That's the first appearance at Nebula. And I was like, and it was like a nice condition. And let me tell you, a key with a Mark Jewelers is the best thing you could get. And I was like, that's what you get for being nice. That's what you get, guys. That's the lesson of the day. I'm kidding. I made his day. He said he never got Mark Jewelers before, and he bought 20 books as well. He got an Amazing Spider-Man 300. I don't know how I missed that one. Okay, that's a joke. That didn't happen. Again, Avengers 262. And again, it's interesting how you'll always know, if it has the little star on it, there's a 90% chance there's a Mark Jewelers in there. Now, I've seen a star with nothing in it, and maybe the insert was ripped out. One thing I have to say, and I haven't run into yet, is where people tear this part out. Because this is perforated. So I wonder how much business they actually did. Avengers 256. Because remember, the key about Mark Jewelers was to get people to buy their rings for their sweeties. So let's see what these rings went for. We'll look at Avengers 255. There's 256. And like a fool, I missed 257, and it ended up in the hands of Outer World Comics. Check out his channel. He's local in Colorado. Unlike me, he shows his face. I won't show my face. He'll never know what I look like. He knew what I looked like because he heard my voice and said, oh yeah, I know who that is. And then I felt like I was on notice. Okay, look at these ring prices. Brit, 380. Lois. Get it, Lois? This is like appealing to dorks in the military in the early 80s. People would buy their rings frantically. $380 back in the 80s. Like, what is that? Like $1,000 now? Who knows? I don't know inflation, how it works. I feel like it depends on what you're talking about. Depends on like some things blew up and some things kind of remain the same or settled. And 380 sounds like a lot in the 1980s, but again, they were playing. Oh, I got a bunch of West Coast Avengers. That was kind of cool. Here's 38 reenacting Avengers #1. But I always make the joke about how Mark Jewelers played into the fear of the cadet or soldier or whatever who was away from home, away from his sweetie, and it was like, I gotta lock it in by getting I read a West Coast Avengers #6 with this cousin of Tony the Tiger on it, and I need to go now frantically buy a ring to lock it in so that she doesn't leave me for Hippie Pete or Bong Hit Joe. West Coast Avengers #5, all black cover. Honestly, not the greatest condition. I do like, though, that it looks like he's got a little bit of a nose there from that scratch. And again, It's a Mark Jewelers. Where is it? Where is it? I gotta make sure. Oh, that would stink if it wasn't. Oh, it is. Oh, this one. Oh, here we go. This one's a key. First appearance, a Master Pandemonium. This guy has a crazy power, actually. He shoots demons out of his hands. He lost an arm in a car accident, and Mephisto ripped off his other arm and then gave him arms from demons, and he's like a portal for demons in his arms. And then he's famous, though, for being in the later issues, like in around 55 or whatever, when he absorbs the twins of Scarlet Witch. Because that's when it was like revealed that they weren't really, they were like manifestations of like Mephisto, and he pulled them back because they were basically kind of like demons. And it's a really creepy drawing of him with like little kid hands, but also it's really funny because John Byrne can draw children to save his life. Here's West Coast Avengers number 3, and again Mark Jewelers. West Coast Avengers number 2, Mark Jewelers, did not have a 1. This one's not the greatest condition, but I figured I'd get the run. I was glad to see a little run. If I were to sell these, I would probably just sell these as a set, like a run of Mark Jewelers. Here's Captain America 311, nothing to do with the band. All right, let me show you. It is a Mark Jewelers. I have to show it, or no one will believe it. There'll be that one guy who says, you said there was 55 Mark Jewelers, but really all I saw was 54. You, sir, are a liar. No, I'm not. Here we go. Look, another Mark Jewelers, issue 309. Issue 308. Is this the first appearance of Armadillo? I think so. I'm pretty sure this is the first appearance of Armadillo. So, hey, that's pretty cool. Little key. Here's Captain America 307. And again, Mark Jewelers. I don't know how I missed that Avengers 257. I don't know. But he came in and he took it. Am I bitter? Yes. Yes, I am bitter. Of course I am. And you want to know what? You know, I know how he knew who I was. He was at a convention or two ago. He knew I was because of my voice, and he heard the laugh. And when he heard the laugh, he goes, I know who you are. You love comic books. And I said, God damn it. No one's supposed to know who I am. I'm Incognito. That's my name. New Mutants 36. Oh, yeah. Duh. I'm showing you New Mutants books. New Mutants 37 with the Beyonder issues. New Mutants 38. This one's like okay. Is the cover detached? It's just it's hanging on. New Mutants 38 with that sick cover though. With gotta tell you it's a Mark Jewelers. You won't believe me. Come on. Here we go. This one's in really nice condition actually, and I'm glad. And this is a key. First appearance of Madripoor. New Mutants 32. This is cool. I actually never seen this one before. They had a bunch of Micronauts, and I kind of passed them, but I grabbed this one. Micronauts number 16 with the Secret Wars 2 crossover with the Beyonder on the cover. I still love the very 80s style Beyonder for Secret Wars 2. Oh, here we go. I got a nice little run of Fantastic Four. Fantastic Four 321 or 321. Blast off. There you go, Mark Jewelers. Nice Doom cover. 318. And again, to show you. And this is around that period when the Thing. So what happens is I wasn't reading comics for a while, and then I got back into it like around this time, and I remember seeing the Thing and being like, "What the hell is going on here?" He got like extra mutated, and he got even stronger. They did he fought the Hulk, and he like completely crushes him. Hulk was also gray at the time, and the thing is, here's the thing: the Thing would always kind of lose to the Hulk because the Thing is like super strong, but the Hulk is just like beyond that. And then they also introduced the She-Thing, which was the new Miss Marvel that was introduced in the Thing series, like towards the end. I forgot her name. I don't know if she's active anymore. I know she's not this Thing anymore. But, and then here's Fantastic Four 317. Look at that. Oh, yeah. Thing on Thing action. I'm glad I opened it up to this page. Wow. I might have to put a little Post-it note on that to cover it up so I don't get dinged by YouTube. everyone's got to think this is like an OF channel, and it's not. It's an OT channel for Thing. So I'm sorry. I apologize. Please stay on. I promise there won't be any more cringy jokes like that. Fantastic Four 293, Blackout. Here we go, more Beyonder. Fantastic Four 288 with Doom on the cover. And again, just to prove everyone. Come on. Now, here's the other thing, is that, like, as you get into the 90s, early 90s, if you find Mark Jewelers, you got to figure that's even rarer because, like, newsstands started to go down, too. So that's just something to keep your eye out. They do exist in, like, the early 90s. I don't know how late they go, but here's 2987. I don't know who this character is. I remember her in, like, a bunch of 80s books. But here's another Mark Jewelers. This is a good one. This is a really good one. Decent condition. It'll look better in the bag. Could use a cleaning. Fantastic Four 286, The Return of Jean Grey. This is a controversial issue, actually. Marvel wanted her back. Chris Claremont considered her dead. He killed her in the Dark Phoenix run. And they brought her back in this week because it was leading into X Factor. Excuse me. X Factor, which was basically a new series starring the original team of Cyclops, Jean Grey, Angel, Iceman, and Beast. And they had to find a way to bring her back. She was dead for, like, what year is this? 5 years. That's not, you think about that. I mean, as a kid, I thought it was like 5 years, 1985. Oh my God, what a gap. And that's like nothing, actually, when you think about it. And they had Madeline Pryor in there in that time period. I mean, they killed Phoenix off again, like in the Grant Morrison run, and she actually stayed dead longer. That version. Of course, they brought in like a younger version of her. They always have little ways of, like, when they killed Wolverine, all of a sudden Old Man Logan was like around the entire time Wolverine was technically dead. It's like, okay, whatever. Yeah, Wolverine's dead, but here's Old Man Logan. So yeah, this is a bit of a key. Pretty cool. And who knows, like, I could see this issue blowing up for some reason. I think the controversial thing that people had was how they brought her back. It basically stated that she was like in a cocoon, and that the Phoenix took her, like, cloned her basically. And what we knew as the Dark Phoenix was never her, which I think they kind of retconned this. I don't know. Because if you go by this, that means she never was the Dark Phoenix, which means she learned nothing if she were to get possessed by the Dark Phoenix again, or would have it ever, because she never technically was, according to this issue. She was in a cocoon the entire time. Here's Fantastic Four 284 with a She-Hulking a boot to the head. Here we go. Mark Jewelers 283 with Psycho Man, who should have been the villain. I have a feeling Psycho Man was supposed to be the villain in Quantum Mania. And they were probably like, because Psycho Man is like the villain of the microverse or something. And they probably, Marvel, whatever, they were just like, no one's going to know who that is. So they kind of merged that version of Kang with Psycho Man. That's just I'm going along with that. I don't have proof of it, but I would imagine that's what it was. Fantastic Four 282. Again, great cover. Classic. And again, it's Mark Jewelers. Here's another one, 277 with this kind of gross cover. And again, just come on, Mark. Come on, Mark. Come on. There we go. Fantastic Four 274. Again, Mark Jewelers. Fantastic Four 271 with the Gormu, who is basically the monster from the first issue of Fantastic Four. I'm wondering if this is like a flashback, because it looks like they're in their civilian clothes. I don't know, but I'll have to read it or something. But that is a Mark Jewelers as well. Now, these are cool, but here, I'll show these first, and then that'll be it. I only have a couple more left. Iron Man 208, Mark Jewelers. I honestly got it just because it was like a nice condition. Like, I wasn't even going to get any Iron Man ones, but the fact that this one was in decent condition, Iron Man 199 was in nice condition, I was like, all right, I'm not going to pass it up, because they did have a bunch of stinkers in there. And then 198 with Obadiah Stane was the original bad guy from the first Iron Man movie. And you know what? I liked, what's her name? Riri Williams, Ironheart, because they brought in his son. I thought it was really cool, played by the guy who played Han Solo. He's a great actor. I liked him in Weapons. I don't know if you saw that. All right, here are the last two. Now, these, I just feel like they need to be if these were pressed, they'd be a lot better. Alpha Flight 33. This one is not as good condition, but and then Alpha Flight 34. They just need to be pressed down. And this is the first appearance of the woman who becomes she becomes Lady Deathstrike in this comic. I forgot her name. Her first appearance is like Daredevil 197. Rukami? I'm gonna butcher. No, I'm not. You know what? I don't know. It's Lady Deathstrike's technically her first appearances in this Alpha Flight issues. So that was pretty cool. Now, he did have a bunch of other Alpha Flights in there. I passed on those. He had a lot of Defenders. I passed on those. Because the thing was, I was hoping that, I'll be honest, I was hoping he would do a good deal. Like, I gave him I had like 52, I think, at first. And he was like, I was like, you do 40 cash? And he's like, no, 50. He knew he had them. He knew they were all Mark Jewelers. It wasn't like me going like in there and going, you know, like, they'll never know. Yeah. He knew what he got. He knew where he bought them from. He bought them from like an old veteran or something. And I guess, he kept the real keys in there. I think like I'm positive he scored a Gambit 266, Uncanny X-Men 266 in there. And that in the Mark Jewelers is an amazing score. But like I said, he had other books in there, and that no good out of World Comics got his hands on my first appearance in Nebula. Not better at all. So he let me grab a couple. So what he said, then he would say I had 52, and then he's like, I could do 50. I was like, that's not that great. But then he let me grab a couple more. So it was 55 for $50. So hey, less than $1 each for Mark Jewelers books. I would say that was a good deal. And like I said, it's almost to the point where, I'm finding these like a lot. And I think it's just because of where I live. I'm not far from Colorado Springs, which is a military, obviously that's where the Air Force is. So you got to figure there's going to be, and anytime I go to Colorado Springs, I do tend to find some Mark Jewelers in the back issue bins here and there. They circulate a lot in Colorado. Now, why am I telling people this? I should edit this out. Well, there's going to be a bunch of Outer World comic guys who are going to take all my Mark Jewelers from me. But I think at some point, I'm just going to pass on Mark Jewelers, depending on what it is, of course. Like these, if they were $5 each, I would have probably just bought a couple, but like, was there $1 each? For me, when I resell these, and I am going to resell most of these. I ain't going to lie. I don't know how quickly they'll sell. Uncanny X-Men will sell pretty quickly. Like, I posted Uncanny X-Men with Wolverine, I think it's like 236, with him on the cover. He's turning the Brood, and it's like the first Goblin Queen. I sold that for $50 in, like, no joke, 2 minutes on my eBay. I posted it, and, like, literally within minutes it was sold. But then there's others that just sit forever. I've had a Silver Surfer Mark Jewelers on there probably like a year now. It just depends on what it is. So just because it's a Mark Jewelers doesn't mean like you're sitting on gold. It's anything. It's just kind of cool and fun. So when I saw them all in the dollar bin, I was like, all right, I can't pass these up. Like I said, and I did end up passing up. I could have bought them all. But I really did not want to be stuck with a giant stack of comics. I had to get them bagged and boarded, which is not a big deal. But you know what? The joke is to buy bags and boards for these will cost pretty much half of the amount I paid for these. So that would make it that I paid $75 for these, which again isn't a bad thing. I mean, that's still like a little bit over $1 a book in the end. I'm just pointing out, if you're doing reselling or anything like that, these are things you got to keep in mind. He knew what he was doing. He knew what he was selling. He knew they were Mark Jewelers. The guy is a dealer. He knew exactly what he had, and that was cool that he put them in there and didn't really care. And clearly, he got the good stuff, or what he deemed the good stuff. So yeah, this was an awesome haul, a fun haul. Like I said, did I blow the the Mark Jewelers? I'm not gonna say the word. like the more I open these, do they become less special? I don't know. It depends on the book again. Like I found Star Wars recently. That to me is a big deal. I never seen Star Wars Mark Jeweller's books before. I found Secret Wars ones, Spider-Man, Hulk, X-Men's a big one. But this is kind of cool. I'll say this: I never found New Mutants ones before, so that was fun. You know, this. Where is it? This New Mutants 32. That's pretty cool, and it being in like really nice condition too. Like it's in pretty. It's like a VF plus. That's good. Then you gotta figure it. Like anytime I find Mark Jewelers, they're either like in. They're hard to find in good condition because I think a lot of these, again, people were buying them and reading them, rolling them up. They were on military bases. I don't think they had like a box of comics, like, you know, short box of bags and boards. They probably just put them in a bag or whatever, and you know, it was in a box. So, and they probably read the hell out of them. You know, case in point, like this book. So this was a great haul. Check out Our World Comics so you can see what he got. Check out, you know what, before you go, do me a favor. If you haven't done so already, hit that like button, leave a comment, hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so already. Smash that bell for notifications. Check out the links in all my episodes for my Instagram, where I post stuff like this from the haul, stuff from the collection. And then also check out the link to my eBay where I sell comics, trades, toys, video games, vintage, cheese, and more. You gotta see a previous video here. You gotta see a previous video there. You gotta smash the subscribe button. I'll talk to you guys later. Have a good one. Bye-bye.